Episode 50, Veterans Day Special with Army veteran Alex Tressler. Bonus. All right, I think we're live. Welcome to a very special podcast episode of the Card Diary by Hobbyist Thompson. I am your host, Denny Cards, the self-proclaimed hobby jack of all trades, master of none. And as of today, I just learned this morning from a hobby friend. This podcast is in the top 50 of all hobby podcasts in the U.S., specifically number 41, Dirk Nowitzki's number. This is according to Chartable, and I am going to catch up to that knitting podcast. I'm not going to even mention their name because I don't want to give them any free plugs. But as I usually like to say, to paraphrase Jay-Z, you could be listening to any podcast right now, but you're here with me. So thank you so much for that. And today you are not here. You are here not just with me, but a very special guest. I've been trying to get this guest on this podcast for a while. Man, his podcast appearance fee was just so high. And then, in a down market, it kind of goes down a little, and then the price was right. So here's my quick intro of him before I allow him to we're going to have an awesome hour of talking. We only met in person for the first time at National, but we have become fast friends. I think I can say that. I hope he thinks that. I don't know. But he has helped me promote my local Alexandria, Virginia trade night. He even drove up 2 hours from Richmond to come to it. He printed out flyers. He handed them out at shows. He's a dealer, collector. Well, I'll say first collector, then dealer. And someone who sells in person on eBay. And he is just such a good person in the hobby. He's a true OG. We talk about OGs, right? And when I say OG, and this was his earliest, I think, claim to fame. I first saw him on YouTube 15 or so years ago in a viral video where he pulled a dual logo man while wearing military fatigues because he was deployed at that time. He didn't have that beard, for those of you who are watching on YouTube, but optimized for video. Optimized for podcast, I'm sorry.
I didn't have that Fu Manchu either.
Oh yeah, so for folks who are listening, to just the podcast, this is my first podcast appearance where I am rocking a terribly looking Fu Manchu that you will see on Instagram. My guest has a full beard, a manly, grizzly beard, and he has been deployed to Afghanistan 3 times in his life. And so I would like to finally introduce him, Alex Tressler, on the social media, YouTube, Instagram platforms as Army ATC 22. Welcome to the pod.
Thanks for having me on, Danny. I'm glad, that you were able to talk me down from my outrageously high fee to come on podcasts. The big guys like the Chase, they paid. They paid for it for me to come on there, but they got the big bucks, right? So I'm glad to be on. I've been talking to you for a while now, on and off on social media. It seems like a lot of content creators out there play tag, right? You're tagging each other constantly back and forth and posts and stuff. And you do more interactions on that than just inside, the messages and stuff like that. So it's great to be here just talking with you for the next hour.
Awesome. Yes, I'm very excited for this chat, and it's almost like we talk often, over the phone. Like you're one of the people who has my actual phone number, and so we talk, and so hopefully this will just kind of be like one of our normal, regular conversations. First thing I do want to say, again, this is like the special Veterans Day episode. First thing I want to say to you is thank you for your service.
No, well, you're welcome. So many people tell me, thank you. For me, it was a profession. It always will be. A lot of people that do it for a career say it's just a job, just like everyone else. The percentage of individuals that actually sign and join is extremely low. It's like 4%, I believe, of the population actually serve the military. And I've I've been around the world and back again, met so many people, done so many things, and I do it tenfold all over again. It was a quick, fast 22 years. It's really
Mm,
crazy, right? My lucky number is 22,
mm.
and I did 22 years in the Army, and I retired in 2022. I don't know. I mean, it just like lined up perfectly. But it, it it helped me become a better man, a better father, friend, and helps me with what my day to day stuff is now. Right, especially in the hobby. I've told you in person. I've told a lot of other individuals. Me setting up as a dealer, me selling online stuff. None of that stuff matters. It's the friendships and the
Mhm.
communication, the talking that I have with individuals. Um, Educating from as much as I can from being in, back in the hobby since 2008ish, so the last 15 years, seeing the highs and lows, and just forming more friendships and helping individuals the best of their ability inside the hobby.
That's wonderful. And so you didn't leave the hobby then, because again, I'm sorry, I should have mentioned that dual logo man I was talking about. That was from I think '07, '08. Exquisite.
It, yeah, it was Durant's rookie year.
Yeah, yeah, that was the Florida Gators coming out. Noah, Horford, um, Brewer, Richards, which no one knows about those last two, or I mean the last one, I guess. Brewer had a 50-point game one time. But so you didn't leave. You were in the hobby the entire time.
Yeah, so when I mean, at the time frame, I was in my 20s, coming back in. I was in when I was a kid. Then all of a sudden, pretty much like everyone says, get Men in Black. With the machine they used, that just blacked out. Don't know what happened. Why I left the hobby. All of a sudden, I'm back in again. I know what it is. It's called puberty, probably.
Puberty,
You know,
yeah, yeah.
found the difference of girls and stuff. Probably not thinking it's really cool to collect cards. But that's what's crazy, because today's being at shows and seeing people online and stuff. There's a lot of individuals that are at that middle school to college time frame where I wasn't in the hobby for that time frame. I see in it now, and I love seeing that. But yeah, for the past 15 years, when I got back into it, I've just been, making YouTube content. Took a break a little bit for like a year, but I was still on the forums. I was on
Yeah.
Instagram. I was, on Facebook groups and stuff. I was constantly doing stuff in the hobby. It's just constantly, jumped around.
Yeah, so you've been part of a lot of online and in person, in real life communities within the hobby, and you've seen people come and go then throughout this entire time, and you saw the boom early on in the pandemic and all that, right?
Yeah, so I did and I didn't, because during the pandemic, I was deployed in Afghanistan.
Ah,
So before that, I mean, what's crazy is, before I remember it to the day, before I left for Afghanistan, I went to Walmart and got two blasters of 1819 Prism basketball, Luca and Trey's year. One
nice.
of the blasters had a Luca Silver and a Trey rookie auto in it, just one. And I got that blaster for 19.99, at the time, because it was prior
$19.
to
Oh my
the
god.
craziness. Um, I forgot that stuff, like everything that I had in my boxes and stuff when I deployed, were all in storage. So after a year being away, during the boom, I pulled this stuff out and I'm just sifting through stuff, finding, Patrick Mahomes numbered rookies and everything else. Like,
Oh,
of course, 3 years prior to that, I was in group breaks. I was opening boxes and everyone was looking for Kareem Hunt. They weren't looking for Patrick
Kareem
Mahomes,
Hunt. Yes,
right?
I remember
So
that.
I, I, I remember it directly. I'm going through and all of a sudden hit a whole big old stack of Chiefs stuff, because I didn't have it broken down by team. And I see Alex Smith. I'm just like, this looks like an older year. And I
Oh,
see, oh, Kareem Hunt, that's pretty cool. And like three Patrick Mahomes back to back to back. And I'm like, oh,
oh my
hold
goodness.
on. That's numbered. That's low numbered. And my grading fees, I think, for the end of 2020 had to have been close to a couple $1,000, because
Wow.
I sent in so much stuff, and everything came back tenfold. It was nuts. But
Wow.
It was fun. It was fun
That
going
is
back.
amazing. So can I ask you this? Because I do apologize. I don't know if they actually released it, but I know you were recently on another podcast. Our good friends, Stock and Trade and Mac Car Collection, they have a new podcast, Unboxing the Hobby. They didn't pay for that plug, but it's okay. They're friends. Did you talk? So what you're about to talk about, what we are about to talk about, and what you just mentioned, was that kind of talked about on their podcast too?
It was not.
Okay.
So
So here's what I want to do. And I kind of briefly talked about this, but I would love if people gave that podcast episode a listen and
yeah,
you, because you're the only one who really knows what was talked about there and what you're going to talk about here, is to do your best to kind of like supplement that. And, but, if there's some, stuff that you say again, that's totally fine. But I just wanted to, kind of, shine some light on their podcast, but also, like say, hey, this is different information that you can get in two different podcast shows, I guess.
yeah. So their podcast dropped today. I don't know if you can really
Oh
say
yeah,
today's Wednesday.
yeah. Let's say
Uh,
it. Yeah, it's November 8th. I did miss it. The drop.
yep, it dropped today. A lot of ours that we talked about on there was me opening boxes while deployed.
Mm,
Uh, some of the bigger hits while I was deployed, and the evolution of group breaking
mm,
and other things that I did, because since I was a group breaker myself, hosting stuff, and that's how I pulled the dual logo man and everything.
mm-hmm.
Of seeing that evolution, seeing what it's going through. So there's a lot of discussions about that, about selling stuff way too early.
Yeah.
Um, bigger pulls. Some of my biggest pulls. I mean, I'll go listen to that podcast.
Yes. Yes.
I'm pretty sure the three or four that I talk about would sell at the height probably about $3 million total.
That I
Yeah,
that pauses me just almost choking on my wow, on my own spit here. What? $3 million
yeah,
dollars worth of pulls
yep.
from just a handful of cards.
I mean, I'd give a quick teaser. Talked about opening about 8 or 9 cases of '09 Bowman draft while
Ah,
deployed in Afghanistan.
wow. Wow.
Right, Mike Trout's first Bowman first
Yeah.
autos.
Oh, right. Gotcha. All right. So
So
so let's not duplicate that. I do want to talk about the military service. Let's definitely get into the cards. But you just mentioned how you were deployed in Afghanistan at the start of the pandemic. Was that your, so I'm assuming, but please let me know if I'm wrong, that was your third of the three deployments?
yes, uh, third. So depends on when it was. I'm trying to think. Nope. Second deployment in Afghanistan was second and third deployment in Afghanistan. I was back in the hobby. The first one in Afghanistan, I wasn't. That was um, right before. That's what kind of got me into back in the hobby.
Okay.
And then my one deployment in Iraq was well before that, and I wasn't in the hobby at that point.
Gotcha. All right. And I just have to mention this because for the people who are maybe watching this on YouTube, when you were doing the hand motions, there was a thumbs down emoji that came to the side of your face. And before I
Really?
started recording, yeah, you mentioned how you have the latest updated version of iPhone, right? And so do so so
Here
when
we
you were
go.
doing like a yeah, go ahead, do it.
So I want to act like I'm like something just happened. I'm like, if I got a big hit, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's incredible. It's my
There
own
you go.
pyrotech, my own,
So
PI.
So for folks who are listening just audio, the entire background of Army's beautiful home backdrop just turned black, and there was fireworks in the background. Your I think your video is a little spotty. I know I've had some issues with the internet's connection for some of my guests. I'm wondering if it's me now at this point. I'm gonna have to like put some of my devices on like airplane mode. Maybe that'll help. Maybe it is me. At a certain point, I'm the common denominator, right?
Are
All
you?
right,
Am I coming across choppy? You've been perfect the whole time for me.
really okay. Well, that a lot of people say that. No, I'm just kidding. Thank you.
I mean,
Uh,
every
Airplane
now
mode.
you
Okay.
every once in a while you like dip back behind your green screen and everything, but
Oh
those
yeah, no, that's my personality. No. Okay, so here's the thing. I Let's get into a little bit more about the military service and how maybe that helps your hobbying. And then I want to talk about, I mean, there's a bunch of things I want to talk about. Like you went to Car Collectors 2 trade night, you've set up as a dealer. I want to know, how that experience is, maybe share some things so the listeners can, maybe they'll be inspired to do that too. Even talking about the dinner we had at Chantilly show, the trade night that we had in Alexandria. But the first thing I wanted to ask you about is, you mentioned how like it has made you, like your military service has made you into a better person in the many different hats that you wear. And so I just wanted to ask you, like, when it comes to the hobby, do you feel that, having been a military serviceman, like, you established maybe some really good like routines, like structure, um moral compass, like, just talk, help me kind of learn more about that.
Yeah, so it encompasses a lot of different things. Of course, one of the biggest things in the military is integrity. Being truthful and everything with stuff. There's there is like the being at the right place, right time, right uniform. You're pretty much dress right dress and everything. So the way that I take all the cards that I have and even opening boxes and stuff like that or whatever specifically in a set way, like going pack by pack when I I open up a pack and I'm pulling out the rookies right away, not just bam bam bam. I'm sorting while I'm opening. Those little things of discipline, I guess you can call it, and
Hmm.
everything
Hmm.
is it has gone a long way. Um, and I think you see it with a good bit of the content creators and the people out there, not even the people that are doing content, the good show promoters and stuff like that. The selfless service, that's a huge thing in the military.
Hmm.
Giving up stuff or whatever, and everything. For like, I want to do an example. The show that's coming up this weekend in Virginia Beach that I'm setting up at, we got a giveaway with my card post, at the show. I'm giving my own cards towards the cause of a platform I believe greatly in. It's not because of the fact that there's a sponsorship involved and stuff. It's like I didn't ask Mark, hey, can I do this? I did this and I pushed it to him, and he's like, that's a great idea. I'm going to send you some more stuff to throw in there. So that aspect of like laying down your life for others, right, and
Hmm.
going on multiple deployments and leaving families behind because you're serving your country. Some people might see it in a different way, even people in the military, but in the overall picture, after I finally retired, I was just like, man, maybe, my job as an air traffic controller in the Army, a lot of people thought was more of Air Force wise and easier. If you look up some of the most stressful jobs in the world is air traffic control. However, once I got higher in ranks, I had less responsibility with ATC, but more managing personnel and everything.
Okay.
But at the very end, afterwards, you know, I always told my parents, I told a lot of individuals, I didn't really like when people said, thank you for your service, you're doing,
Mm.
because I just didn't feel like I was doing as much as like infantrymen where we're actually, busting down doors and stuff like that. But what I was doing was supporting them. The support that everyone has a place in the different military branches and stuff, and we're all supporting each other. And honestly, not one job is better than anyone else's job. You
Mm.
just have different duties. So after finally out and looking back at it all, I was like, wow, I did sacrifice a lot, away from home a lot and stuff like that. So, you know, being the discipline aspect or whatever has helped a long way. And I mean, it goes a long way too. I mean, I have adult money now, so I'm able to spend on whatever I want, right? But but the discipline somewhat's there for, okay, maybe I should not get into this because I still have to pay the water bill.
I know you rip a lot of wax, which I love to see. I mean, I just watch it, right? It's your money. You can spend it however you want. But you've been ripping for a while, and I mean, I never get a sense that you're going beyond your means. And I applaud you for that. Because we know Flawless is out there, National Treasure's out there, but you're ripping like $300-400 boxes. Not like I remember you went Wemby hunting for that green parallel before the big show in Dallas that they did. But
I
it's
did.
like fun rips.
I did. And if anyone's listening to this and they're breakers or they like to bust wax, the box he just said, Bowman Chrome U basketball, you should still be opening because the Superfractor Auto 101 still has not been pulled.
Yes. The sponsor.
So,
This podcast has been sponsored by Fanatics now, so or
I
Tops.
mean, maybe this little push. Yeah,
I we
but
want to. Can I just say, the wild thing about, of course, the super fractors being 101, there's so much said. Well, it comes in waves, but the 2008, 2009, what is it? The Steph Curry
no,
tops
that's
chrome super fractor.
that's the year after that. 8-9 was D Rose.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yes, 0910. So
Yeah.
people keep going. Where is this card? Where's this card? It's almost like we in society it's almost like we feel like we deserve to see every card pulled that's out there. And these cards don't come into market unless they're pack pulled.
Well, yes, because back then not everyone was busting regular tops as
Yeah,
much as everyone's opening flawless as soon as it's dropped with
right,
the million breakers out there doing it. We're
right.
seeing more of these bigger cards pulled because there's 10 100 times more people opening product now than it was back in 12 years ago.
Yeah,
And it's crazy because the prices are outrageous compared to that. A lot of people, the example you give with the Steph Curry Chrome Super rookie, it's in a regular tops pack
yeah.
because they come like one per pack, one
That's right.
Chrome
Paper.
rookie per
Right,
pack.
right.
Majority of the rest of it's all rookies.
Yes.
It wasn't a Chrome product. There was, but they didn't have. They put the Super in that, not the actual Chrome product.
So it's kind of like what they do with Bowman. It's like the paper, they call it right in baseball. And this is what I love about learning different sports is like they have these terms like the paper rookies and because you do get like a chromium finished card in paper packs or packs that are mostly paper cards, right?
Regular Bowman.
Yeah, and that's more of a baseball thing than like say again, it's more of I guess not a baseball. It's more of a tops thing is a better way to put it, I
It
guess.
and you say baseball because Tops hasn't had football and basketball
Right,
for
right,
over decades. So you
right.
know, so when now, a few years from now, when they do have everything, you're
Hmm.
probably going to see it again.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But it's interesting. I just want to go back a little bit to the military services. I kid you not. One of my follow-up questions was going to be, what do you think about when people say thank you for your service? Because I know there was that movie recently, or I don't know how recently, probably pre-pandemic, but Miles Teller. It was a movie called "Thank You for Your Service," and it was about just kind of
It was literally called "Thank You for Your
yeah,
Service."
exactly. But thank you for letting me know or letting us know that that's something that it's not such an easy thing, right? I mean, we want to say to support our troops, but there is some nuance and feelings that come with that phrase, I guess.
Yeah, and the thing is like I use it. If I see a World War II vet, a Vietnam vet, they're wearing the hat, stuff like that, or someone tells me that at the show, hey, my grandfather was in the military. I say the same thing. I was like, thank them for their service from a former service member
Yeah,
themselves.
yeah.
Because I know those individuals what they went through compared to what I went through, completely different. It's same as in the hobby.
Mm.
10 years ago is completely different than right now because everything changes.
All right, so I'm not a professional anything within the hobby. So I'm not a professional podcaster. I'm gonna kind of go back and forth with the hobby and the military in this line of questioning because you gave me so many great conversational threads. Like I'm gonna know about the 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 show you're gonna be dealing at. We can talk about my card post. Shout out to Mark. You said Mark. It's Mark Hill. I recently made a trade with him on my card post. But here's the thing, like.
You were that monster trade.
Yes, exactly. But so the thing is, when it comes to you talk to folks in the hobby who either did serve or someone in their family served. This is, I will just say up front, it's a jokey question, but you know how there's like senior citizen discounts, student discounts, military discounts. Do you give Alex, Army ATC? Do you give a military discount?
Maybe. No, so
Flip it.
I say that because no one's asked.
Mm.
I had to think for a second, and I'm like, I don't think anyone's really asked for it, honestly. And a lot of times it's because they already seems like they're getting discounts when they're at my table.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny. No, you people, I have seen people rummage through your value bins and just love they make huge stacks. People like you, again, let's just go into like you setting as a dealer. Like I've seen you make a good, coin with these value bin purchases by people who just, I don't know, like if you know what the highest number of cards, I'm not talking about like whole total value, but like how many cards has anyone ever stacked in your value bins?
I think someone's asked me this question before. I think it's like 455
Ooh.
total cards, and came out to I think we came out to like 350 or 375 per card, and it just so happened to be someone that works at DC Sports.
Three
Shout out.
dollars and 50. Yeah, shout out to DC Sports 87. Let's just make this whole thing a commercial. $3.50 per card.
Yep.
So they were like what, like $5, $7 cards, and you're kind of
But
something like that.
there was a good bit of jerseys and autos,
Mm-hmm.
and then a lot of numbered stuff because my value boxes, I tend to, when I refill them, I try to refill it with stuff that it's different than everybody else. That's why it's so
Mm,
many coming back, and that's numbered cards, jersey cards, and autos. Now they can be completely nobodies that haven't played in the league for 10 years,
yeah.
5 years, whatever. That stuff in value boxes have value no matter what. They're at least $1, right?
Right.
So
Right.
I'll give you a great example. When I left the Richmond show a couple weeks ago,
Mm-hmm.
in the parking lot was someone that was, I can put it up real quick. Someone that was selling the back of the trunk because he had a
Yeah.
whole bunch of boxes. Let's see
Yeah.
if I can there.
All right.
So
We're taking a view of your home. Yep. Showing the
those
video.
right there,
Uh-huh.
those have 1,300 cards in it that are
Mm.
all jerseys, autos, or numbered cards.
Wow.
Every one of them I got for $250.
What?
So
Okay.
do the simple math if I just sell
So
them at $1, right?
yeah. Right.
But inside there were, I think, 10 101s, multiple cards out of 10, Jalen McDaniels contenders auto out of 49. You
Hmm.
know, there's bigger Deshaun Watson jumbo patches from his rookie year. You know, tons of stuff in there that had a lot of value. I mean, I had a stack like this that pretty much paid for it by itself. Those are the deals I'm trying to find
Nice.
where loading up my boxes with that stuff that can easily get pushed out, and that's why people are just digging through like crazy.
Gotcha. So as on the other flip side, so I have dealt, but I haven't not really done the value bin stuff as a dealer. Not that my cards are big. Like I'm the guy who does like the 25 to $100 slab type of things, or maybe up to $200. But like
But
we all start somewhere, right?
to go off real quick, that is what the value range you should be at. If you're
Hmm.
setting up shows,
Mm-hmm.
98% of the individuals at that show will buy $20 to $150 cards, and only 2% or less are going to buy anything probably over 500.
Gotcha. No, that's good
Here,
advice. Yeah. So, I, as a buyer at the Silver Spring Mid Atlantic Card Show, so shout out to Ryan McCormick, who does a great job promoting that show. But there was a dealer there, and I'm not gonna shout him out mainly because not because I don't want to, but I don't think he's much on Instagram. But his name is Justin, and he had just 90s basketball stuff, just of 90. So you have your basketball bins, but it's mostly ultra modern, so I don't go crazy over it. But like Mac card collection, he and I collect the 90s basketball,
hey,
and
I'm
you're
starting.
showing. I know you're showing. Go ahead, explain the card in your hand for the people listening on the podcast.
So this is from Topps Chrome 2000, no, 2000, 1998,
Hmm.
Shooting Stars refractor of Clyde Drexler.
I I've seen you pick up the 90s cards. I know you're buying these so you can sell them to me. That's basically I'm the end.
So Max said the same thing. He's like, you got to bring them. These are a few that just recently came in. Antoine Jameson, Prodigy,
Mm,
Refractor.
mm.
And this I love this set.
Show the East
Dan,
West.
like rock stars.
That's the Rockstar's refractor.
Yeah. So my goal is I love all these. They have to say refractor on the back.
Yes, right.
Have to say refractor. So it's pretty cool. Even like this penny. This penny's a refractor.
The video is kind of getting a little choppy here. What is that? Is that Bowman's? Bowman's best?
Uh, it was Bowman's best shots.
Yeah. Okay. You have that
Yep.
East West. What? Gary Payton, who's on the other side? East West. I'm guessing someone on the
Mac's
East.
favorite player. Peyton
Iverson.
Iverson.
Can he have one side of the card and I can have the other? Because I I like Gary Payton more.
You love the glove, huh?
Oh man, defensive. I mean, as someone who I've mentioned this on the podcast in the past, but I was never a really good shooter. I think I got to be a better shooter as I got older because once I realized you got to tuck your elbow in and you got to I just had really bad shot mechanics because I didn't go to basketball youth camps. Exactly. Alex is doing the perfect Steph Curry shooting form on video right now, but I didn't. I played a lot of good defense. What is it? Who is that?
Ray Allen bombarders.
Oh, Bombardiers. Oh gosh.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh
Refractor.
man, I gotta figure out a way to make this
Hey, look at that.
video. I gotta shift. How do I? Oops, nope. I don't want to lose you there.
Yeah, I mean, you got like right there. Look at that. Boom.
Ooh, yeah, I want that card. I'm just telling you. Okay, so let's. This might be a good thing to talk about. You and I mentioned this to you before we recorded, and personally find it hard to make deals with friends because I want to it's like, I don't want to screw anyone over, right? But I'm not looking in every deal to squeeze every cent out. But it's one of those things where you're mixing almost in my head. It's almost like you're mixing business with pleasure. It's like, I
Yes.
don't get into business deals with friends either, right? Because money can change people. But you and I did make a deal over dinner. And can we even talk about who was at that dinner? Are we allowed to, Alex? What do you think?
Yeah, why can't we talk about Mojo J, Kayla? Who else was there?
JD, keep the hobby healthy.
Keep the hobby healthy. Jay's main camera guy.
And Q Train, who won the Jordan giveaway, and
New train.
I will hand deliver to him actually at a show in 2 days, at the Fairfax show at a Comfort Inn basement.
Yeah, that was pre-trading, selling prior to you trading and buying a Dennis Rodman card when he walks through the lobby.
Exactly. Yep. I mentioned that in my pseudo vlog, the past episode from this one.
You did
I think it
this
might be.
episode.
Yeah.
You talked about that and what we're about to discuss.
Do you know what's so funny though? The seller, so I'm not gonna mention who traded the card with me, and it was like a part cash, part card deal. But little did that guy know that I was willing to pay almost anything with that interaction happening. Again, it wasn't like I was talking to Dennis Rodman, but the literal fact that he was walking by as I was trading for his card. Granted, it is an unlicensed card, but it's part of his shoe. There's his auto, not a great auto, but there's his auto on card. and it was from 2013, 2014 Upper Deck Exquisite. And again, that's when they lost the license. But I was like, he could have told me any number, and I was gonna
Well,
make that deal work.
another thing, I bet you in that room with everyone that had cards and stuff, I don't think there was one other Rodman in the whole room.
Yeah, yeah, likely.
Like,
Yep,
only one,
yep.
and you dealing for it while he walked in.
It was amazing. It was so cool. As someone who really rooted, like, who did I just mention? Gary Payton, right? Just hard nosed defensive players who can't shoot, who are complete liabilities on offense and complete value adds on defense. That's like me. That's me as a, I don't know. I like to think that I'm kind of like that type of person, like a blue, not blue collar, but like, like a hard hat type of guy who gets his hands dirty. Like at shows, I just start helping people. That's just kind of like what I like to
I'm
do.
calling you the glove from now on,
Glove.
since you since
Yes.
you're giving yourself the same as Gary Payton. I'm calling you the glove from now on.
Thank you. Oh my gosh. Well, this is what that's what they say, right? You don't get to choose your nicknames. People choose them for you. But
Uh, I, I think individuals like Shaq, I think they said that, but he said, nope, I'm making up my own.
the
And
big fundamental. Yeah.
yeah,
Or the big oh gosh, he was the big everything, right? When he went to Phoenix, he was like the big cactus. I mean, he was just such a
Diesel,
fun-loving guy.
Diesel. Everyone
Big
knew him,
Diesel, yeah.
baby.
Shazam. Oh my goodness.
But
Man,
going back because we kind of veered off. We were
yes, that's what we do here.
talking about the deals and with friends and everything else and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yes, thank you. You it's like you are the captain now. You are the podcast host. Thank you for bringing us back on track. If I can set the stage, set the scene a little bit. Thank you. We were having a wonderful dinner. It was at Lazy Dog, right, which is right near the Chantilly card show. It was in the Dallas Expo Center, like their little shopping center there next to the Holiday Inn, all that stuff. And I did bring my cards. I guess shout out No City, their gem sling, just maybe like 30 slabs. And you found one that you wanted for your friend. It was a Steph Curry rookie sticker, a Panini sticker. It was like a PSA 8. And then there was an Ozzie Smith. I forget which like product it was, but it was like a game used, really nice looking patch, maybe a little bit of the cardinal in there, and it was like numbered at I don't know, like 50, but it was like a quad patch, right? Something like that. So we made a deal, and I'll mainly just talk about the Ozzie Smiths because you bought those two cards. I was like, I don't want your money, like we're having dinner, but then in my head I'm like, you know, um, be nice to just pay for dinner. In my head, I'm
Yeah.
like, that's fun, and cash is always, cash is king, etc. But in my head, I'm like, I don't want you to buy these cards. I would rather trade them to you or something. But you're like, no, I want this card for my friend. He's gonna get it. And then this Ozzie Smith, you were very upfront. You were like, I want to give you 40 for it. I think I could sell it for 50. The comp's around 55. And so, I did some kind of like, I don't know, but I was like, it seems like, like making deals is part of the hobby. I mean, it's like it's another way to make a connection with someone. And I trust you, and we looked at the comps, and I didn't feel pressured at all. Although I did have a great trade offer for the Curry later on, and I was like, I forgot. I on my card post, I totally forgot. They're gonna give me like a really good trade value for it, and then I totally screwed it up. But anyway, the very next day, so we made the cash transaction, and go
2
ahead.
days later.
Yeah, let's pause it. Oh, 2 days later, because I missed Saturday, right? That was the day when Paul Pearson and Allen Iverson were rolling through, and I'm coaching youth soccer because it's very important to have family days. So I came by your table in your showcase, and I saw the Ozzie Smith stickered at 70. And I didn't mention to you at that time, but I definitely saw it. And I mean, there's that saying sticker shock. But I was just like, oh my gosh, like he said he was going to sell for 50. It's at 70. I know in hindsight, especially after you and I talked about it, over the phone, like a couple of weeks after, like, I guess I'll just say the day before recording this. Um, it makes more sense to me now what happened.
Yeah.
But I wanted you to and can I just say I mentioned the bones of this transaction and kind of feeling a little way about it in my Chantilly vlog
You,
podcast
you,
episode.
you even talked about what we talked about. How I brought up the fact that putting a higher price on it because card shows and everything are more the back and forth type of aspect, and getting to that number where I wanted to be at 50,
Mhm.
putting the higher number rather than if I would put 50 on it, people are going to be asking 80% of 50, and now I'm losing money.
Mhm. But and it totally makes sense, and I now know that I have to get better at understanding the business side of the hobby. Um, but so I guess my question to you is, would you like you do assume the risk, right? I mean, that car
Yes.
can never move, etc. But if you did sticker at 70 and someone gave you 60, you take it. 50, you take it. Do you take it at 45 and make just like a $5 profit? Do you break even at 40? Like, because what if they want 80% of the comps and you're
I'm
at in the
I'm
40s?
I'm I'm the person, I will take 40 for it. I have never been the one that, I hold, depending on the player, right? Depending on the time of year and everything,
Hmm.
you know, I a lot of times know what I have into the cards. And if I'm into it extremely cheap and it seems like they're getting a good deal, but I'm still getting some money on it, I'm completely fine with it going away, going away and everything. But I'm also completely fine if, they say, hey, I'm picking this up for 40, but I'm also picking up three other cards with it too.
Right, right, right.
The overall whole transaction, because that could lead into more things overall. So then it evens out for the aspect. I did tell you, I was just like, I believe I didn't sell a card, but I did at the Richmond show. And I went back and looked at some footage and everything else and my ledger and stuff. I sold it for $50.
Oh wow! Congratulations.
Sold
I'm
it for
I'm at
$50.
exactly 50. That is awesome. It was a really sweet patch. I mean, like you could really it's almost like it was like the
This
hat, like you can feel
was the patch
the
of the
stitching.
Cardinal, right? It was actually
Yeah.
like, I think the part of the tail of the Cardinal, whatever.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
those patches in museum are always, if they actually have a patch in it
Yeah.
with teams, they're really nice looking.
Yeah, that's actually game used. Yeah, no, it was really cool. And what's funny is I think that I bought it the reason I was okay selling it at 40 is I think I bought it at 35 because I got it in a package deal. The maybe unspoken, or maybe it is, and I'm not listening to the right content, but part cash, part trade deals, finding ways to drive down some, to get to an agreeable point, right? I think it's really important to try to like figure out what do both parties want. I mean, this is like classic. I don't even know why I'm talking about this because I think it's so easy or simple to talk about, but
Well,
sometimes it's important to talk about the fundamentals. Go ahead.
it is the fundamentals, and it's, you trying to justify getting into a card for a certain price,
Yeah.
right? And I'm going to use the example. Go to YouTube and you'll see this Pat Tillman gold vinyl out of 5. All right. This is number 2 of 5. The
Mm-hmm.
value of the card is around $3,700.
Ooh.
All right. If you go to my YouTube page, I break down how I'm into this card for $146
Wow.
completely.
Yeah.
And that's just if you think in that logical aspect, that rational type of aspect of, I bought these cards in a package. I sold all these cards
Mm-hmm.
for that price, so I still have these left over. There's $0 in these cards.
Right.
These cards in process, everything else like that. So you put everything together. Now I'm into this card for this amount. I break it
Gotcha.
down specifically, but I'm into this one of my PC cards for a fraction of the price.
Gotcha. And I can't believe it. We're almost 45 minutes into this, and we didn't even talk about your main PC. Pat Tillman, makes sense. You're a military serviceman. He made the ultimate sacrifice, right? Veterans Day special. It's just he let's talk about Pat Tillman a little bit, right? Because when else am I don't know when else I will. Like, what does he mean to you? And you would agree that he's a pretty hot commodity in the hobby world.
Yes. So when I said earlier about selfless service, right?
Yeah.
Can you think of anyone else turning down millions of dollars in the NFL to go to serve your country? Happened right
Yeah.
after 9/11, right?
Right.
So he got that feeling that he needed to go serve, and he did. Um, so, finding an individual that I really wanted to collect. I've always collected, a lot of, stuff that everyone collects. I have my Griffey rookie. I have a Tiger Woods rookie. I have I have a lot of the stuff that everyone knows about. I was like, I need to have something that is hard to collect. And when I looked into it, of course, I've already followed Pat Tillman for so long. Um, I saw that he didn't have that many cards. So
Mm,
I was just like, okay, instead of going for one of the 3,000 Justin Herbert rookies, let's go
mm,
toward Pat Tillman, who only has two rookies. Let's go towards him. But then Panini's just like, let's put him in Prism and have 46 different parallels.
right. The rainbow.
So when I decided to collect him, that was because it was harder to find. I said it in my YouTube vlog for the National. I searched high and low the whole place, and no one was selling Tillmans until the guy that I've already been talking to on Instagram messaged me saying that he had it there. Can you come meet me on Saturday? And I did the deal. And then someone else brought the white sparkle. Shout out to Brandon Dixon from um, Rip Valley out in Arizona, where Corbin Carroll and Evan Longoria went to for Rip Night. His shop, he actually had a white sparkle PSA 9 and sold it to me at the
Wow.
National, which I cracked out of the PSA 9 because all the rest of them are, yeah, it's right here. All the rest of them are, that's the OCD portion, right? That's the middle.
Yeah.
Want everything to be dress right dress, so I cracked it out of a PSA 9, and it's in a top loader right here.
Look at that. You could bounce a quarter right off it like crisp bed sheets on a cot. Look at that. That's wonderful. Well, congrats. I mean, talk about, again, building relationships and networks. I think one of the most favorite things for me getting more into the hobby and being more well-known commodity or person is I don't have to deal with, like, I mean, will I get scammed? It's possible, and I feel like I already have been scammed with something I plan on talking about next month. But um, yeah, I don't have to deal with the people who just cold call with, like the low level fraud stuff. And for you to have the connections and networks to be able to get those cards, because it's amazing how, yeah, I remember I talked about it in my national recap, is it's the card mecca. It's the most cards in one place, and yet I could not stop. I just felt like my eyes were glazing over all the ultra modern quarterback stuff. I mean, there's beautiful card, or well, kind of sterile and vacuous with like white backgrounds, but
And
just
you
just
also, to cut you off, you used my analogy of card shows. I'm the one
what is
who
that?
told you the streams for the small ones go into the bigger ones that feed into the national.
You weren't. I thought you don't listen to my podcast. What are you talking about? Yes, I did use that. I mean, I hear so many different things from so many different places. I'm sorry I didn't give you the proper credit and shout out. You told me you don't listen to this podcast. What do you mean?
I said it's hard to catch up on it, but I still do. Come on.
Catch up. All right. Yes.
Your
Well,
number, hey, you're in the top like 50, right? So I got to be listening.
gotta be. Thank you for being one of my listeners. For that, for sure.
Maybe
No, but you're.
on repeat. That's why you're up at 50.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'm like juking the numbers, and I'm like, I have like 10 devices next to me, and I'm just like pressing play on all of them. Oh my gosh.
You
Um
called in Russia for the
the
scandal.
bots. Oh yeah. So here's the thing. I want to talk about your selflessness. You helped me a lot with my trade night. You promoted it. I mean, I really felt like I had to, like, So at one point I was like, please stop promoting it because I didn't want people to drive far for it. And two, I was like, I am gonna have to eventually end up paying you from a budget of zero. I was like, I'm gonna have to come out of pocket to like pay you for your time. But you made like I don't know if it was stickers, but like flyers and like thank you so much for being such a good friend in the hobby.
Oh, you're welcome, man. I told you before. I told others. If I wasn't doing that at that point when I was actually at work, I was doing a lot of that stuff at work and stuff. A lot of people use the excuse, "My time is money."
Hmm.
It is, right?
Yeah.
I My time is money. It's not. I'm a retired Army vet. And if I wasn't doing some things, on the side and stuff, like the guy that I went and helped the other day, I posted on Instagram after I met him at the show on Sunday. I want to help him out with some of his collection and stuff and
Yeah.
figuring out what he wants to do. I mean, I had 5, 6 cards in my hand that was up to $30,000 worth of cards, and but I didn't ask for anything. I just wanted him to get that information. If I wasn't there, I'd probably be at my house watching the episode of Survivor I haven't caught up on yet. Right? So I just enjoy it. I enjoy the interactions with other individuals, being in that space, talking the sports, talking the hobby, and everything else, and just being a good person in general,
Yeah.
And I think that helps when you're a vendor.
Hmm. I used to be so addicted to that show when it was like I think it was like the third season was in Africa, and they were literally like they built a thing around them, and there were like wildlife all around them. And I know they go to like these tropical islands now. Where are they? Are they now in outer space? Where are they?
No, they're in right now. I think they might be in Fiji again. They keep going
Fiji.
back to Fiji and Bora Bora. Well, I've been to Bora Bora, uh,
Ooh.
but if I had to have one reality show to be in, Amazing Race.
Oh my gosh, dude!
I mean,
You and I should go on Amazing Race.
let's do it.
Although,
We, we
although I don't know if you can handle my CPAP machine. Or I'm
I
gonna
have
have to.
one too.
Oh,
Come on.
nice. We're CPAP brothers.
Yeah, we're good. But a lot of times I don't use it. I just got it, so yeah, I don't. I'm just
Yeah, no, believe me, that's
like thrown
the
off.
yep, the maintenance of it. Oh, it's so nuts. Here's the thing, it's wild. We're like 8 minutes away from an hour on the recording. There's so much I want to talk to you about, but I knew this was gonna happen. That we're just gonna like just talk and go down all these rabbit holes and conversational threads. Um, you make me laugh so much. Okay, so uh, okay, 757 card shows, Virginia Beach Fieldhouse, trade night Friday,
Yep.
Saturday, 1 day show. They have some athletes coming. No one I think current. I know there's like one wrestler, but they have it's like 250 tables. I mean, you want to talk a little bit about where, how are you going to set up? What's your plan? What's Mac is going to be doing this with you as well.
Yeah. So the 757 promoters down in the Virginia Beach area, they hold a monthly show at a bingo hall, and then once a quarter they have one at the field house that's there, which can just hold so much more space. Normally the show's like 60 tables, whatever, at the bingo hall, but the field house show goes up to, they've gotten up to over 250 plus tables, bringing in a lot of the guests, if you look at their background, they from the Tidewater area,
Hmm.
retired players and everything else like that. They brought in 2 shows ago. Taylor Heineke came
Hmm.
because he went to the college he went to was down in the Norfolk area. I forget what college it was. He's from that.
Norfolk State, maybe. Or, yeah, he did not get a lot of respect as a Commander's quarterback. I mean, I thought he steadied the ship so well, but okay, I
Yep.
digress.
No, you're good.
You're a
So
Dolphins fan, though, right? You're a
yes,
You're a big Tua, Waddle, and the Miami
die
Dolphins fan.
diehard Dolphins fan, was at the 70-point routing of the Broncos this
With
year
your son.
with my son, who's a diehard Broncos fan, and it was a good time. So the show. is expanding more and more. And the next show, actually, in January, is going to be a 2-day. I've been telling them,
Wow.
gotten the feedback from a lot of individuals. It's like Russell, the promoter. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, hey, this needs to be a 2-day show. And he's like, I finally am. It just so happens, though, their 2-day shows the same
Don't say
time as
culture collision. Don't say, oh God,
it
I
is.
think I'm gonna be going to that one.
So
Yeah.
on the culture collision, even though Prism God won't put me in the draft to play basketball, I'm still going to be there supporting.
I have heard about that game. I am not ready for it in any way, shape, or form, literally and figuratively. I wish you luck. I think anyone. I think they have a general sign up. It's like you get put into teams. Like I know there's
Now,
that whole content creator tournament or
I've
something.
talked to them about it already. They
Yeah,
already have a preset list of people, and
there you go.
Chad Seablez and Tyler Santiago are the captains, and they're going to do a draft. They're
Yeah,
actually
round.
drafting. So
What this hobby? This hobby is so
for
funny.
both of them, I actually talked to Chad today, and I was like, "Hey, I'll be in the stands. If you need a big guy, just call me
That's
from the
funny.
stands. There'll be some good content. You know, I'm coming from the stands, coming in and tearing it up. But yeah,
That
so
would be
back to
fun.
the show. The show's going to be incredible. I got 3 tables. Going to have my value boxes up.
3. Wow.
Mac is going to be his first time setting up as a dealer. He's going to be right next to me. I'm going to help him out as much as I can. You know, I've given them some tips already for some value boxes because they've seen the value boxes. If you do the time and you have the stuff people like, they'll pay for your tables, and then everything else,
Wow.
money. My card post, we're doing a giveaway
Mm-hmm.
there with Veterans Day type of giveaway, since it is actually on Veterans Day. The 11th
Yep.
is Veterans Day, so that's going
Yeah,
to
it
be pretty
is.
sweet. I'm going to miss out on my free going to Applebee's and getting a lunch because I'm chilling inside the field house.
Oh
Um,
man.
but I'll be fine. I'm going to be good. Um, tons of foot traffic. There's a lot of people that come there. There's everything from comics to pops to wax to any type of sports cards, any type of different types of non sports cards. There, everything you can think of is there. And then over on the side is tons of kids playing basketball, football,
Mm,
soccer, all in the other parts of the field house,
nice.
while everyone is wheeling and dealing. But it's always been a really good show. It's a longer one. It goes till 4. It goes from 9 to 4
Mm,
on Saturday. Like you said, the trade night is from 6 to 9 in the field house. Field house also the same
okay.
location. So it's in this one's sponsored by B&B Sports Cards, who is there at one of the LCSs down in Virginia Beach.
Okay.
I think they're providing food for everyone at the trade night.
Nice. Seems very family friendly, and I've seen you be so kind to kids in the hobby. I remember one of your most recent YouTube videos, which I encourage y'all to go check out. But he had a push up challenge. You know, for 10 push ups, you get like $10 off. And then what did that
Oh,
one kid say to you?
the cards they didn't have enough money to cover. They had budgets, and great for their parents saying, hey, stick them with the budget, you can't go any farther. I'm like, all
Yeah.
right, let's meet in the middle. You get the $5 extra, can you do 5 push-ups? And they were all for it. But then they were also asking, like, can I do 100 push-ups and get this $100 card? And I'm like, calm down there. You're going to be on the ground watching to make sure you go all the way down if we're going to be doing that.
Oh my gosh, these kids crack me up. Can I tell you one story? And I think I may have told this really early on in my podcast when I set up as a dealer. My first time I set up, I had a free binder. I had a binder of free cards for kids. I said, if you're a kid in the hobby, you can have a card. Kid gets one. He does say thank you, but like literally 5-10 minutes later, he comes to my table again and goes, "Hey, are you looking to buy cards?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure. Show me what you got." And he literally shows me the card that he just picked up from me. And I was like, "Hey, this card looks really familiar. Where did you get it?" It's like, "Oh, just been, looking at it." And I'm like, "Yeah, this is the card that you just got. It's literally in the same penny sleeve and top loader." He said, "Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah." No, but he wasn't one of these like Boss Babies with like a Zion case. I mean, he was like a true kid in the hobby, right? I mean, he's trying to maybe emulate some of the things he sees on YouTube, like with the quick "What's your best" and this and that, which I think it's just so reductive. Some of the things we see on social media, but he was like probably like 9 or 10. He didn't have a Zion case. He didn't have like big slaps. He was just trying to do a trade up or buy sell cards that he was getting at the show and seeing what he could get. But I just thought it was pretty cute. I mean, I wasn't like upset about it. I thought it was a fun story to share.
I've seen that too myself. I have at different shows. It's doing. The dogs are about to go crazy. Just sorry for you.
Yeah, here we go. Who let the dogs out?
Oh no,
Baja
okay.
man.
They're being okay. That's good. But no, same thing. Smaller shows, they don't have a lot of room to go around. So kids doing the trade up challenge, coming back to you, and it's like they got something for me and they traded to the kid that's also doing one, and then that kid trying to trade it back to me. And I was just like, this has already happened.
That is, I love it. It's somewhat sad that happens, but also it's adorable. Now the big problem is if adults start to do that. Now that's gonna be like really bad.
Yeah,
but no.
And also goes back to being that dealer that's being kind and stuff like that, right? So where the kids that got to, they started with, I gave them all free cards. Like they all were pulling cards out of the value boxes, like a refractor John Morant card. And he was wearing like a John Morant jersey. He's like, how much is this? I know it's like $1. I was like, take it. Right. Yeah, and then that kid, now he was just like, he looked at him. He's like, do you just give it to him for free? And I was just like, pick a card too. And then you pick a card. You guys all pick a card. That snowballed into them looking even more. And then they found cards they actually wanted to buy with their money, and snowballed even more to their dad finding a card and buying some stuff.
Nice. Yeah. I know that wasn't the end goal, but a happy ending to that story is really nice. I remember like a kid coming to my table at another show I was at where I was set up really close to the front, and it was a small show, but he was like, I want to buy this Luca. And I was like, I really encourage you to just walk around and take a look at what other cards before you just buy this card, because what if there's another card that you want for that with that budget of money that you have, money that you have budgeted for the show. And he's like, he came back later and he's like, yeah, I got this other card, but thank you. And it's very nice. And I was like, yeah, I didn't want you to have any regrets. I wanted, because I knew, right, this kid came right to my table right from the entrance, and he didn't stop anywhere else. I'm like, there's no way you saw anything here, so go around. If you still want it, come back later. I didn't make a sale from it, and I didn't make a sale from the parents and all that, but it was just kind of like, it's like kind of how I feel like I would like to be treated as a kid. Now that we're adults in the hobby, right, Alex, you and I, we're adults, we get to shape the hobby the way we want it to be seen.
Yep, I agree.
So the dogs, that was a great maybe alarm clock going off. I know we said we're going to slot this for an hour. I say this in so many episodes, but I really do. I would love to have you on more. I'm sorry it took so long for you to finally come on here. You just had to lower your rates. There are the fireworks in the background. Oh gosh.
Yeah, we'll just put a pin in it, man, and come back on in a few months and whatever like that. Maybe in-person podcast at Culture Club, right?
In-person podcast. People have told me that I should consider doing that. I'm playing around with the idea. I like the microphone. Like everything right now is, it's my basement, podcast studio, but this whole this bonus episodes is supposed to be experimental, so I mean, why not? But who knows? I don't know when I'm going to go back to like season 2 and all that, but this has been an absolute blast. I loved just being at the slot you in, because I've baked in that flexibility with these bonus episodes, because I don't know, part of me is like, I got to get back to card art and talking about other ways to hobby, but this is so much fun. It really is.
Yes, and remember, just like the shows, all these other people that have stories and stuff help shape everything else.
Oh yeah.
So get them on your podcast. Get them talking. Bring multiple people on. Line up multiple people.
I think this means you got to do that for your podcast. When's your podcast coming out? I mean, let's end it with this. What are some of your hobby goals for 2024?
My goal is I'm going to start a podcast. I am. I just gotta get the setup. You gotta get some. Maybe I have to figure out what mic you got there and everything, and get
Yeti,
some
yeah,
tips. But
absolutely. I'm here to help.
if I had like a long term goal, where can I take this? What I want to do?
Mhm.
I'd like to be slotted on either ESPN radio or Mad Dog radio with like some time talking the hobby on Sirius XM.
I love it, man. We've seen one of our fellow hobbyists, Kyle, King of Cards, get onto Sports Illustrated doing something similar. Get more into the zeitgeist, get more people outside of the hobby talking about the hobby. I love it. I wish you best luck. If there's any ways that I can help that happen, I don't know how, but let's just continue to lift each other up and grow together and support each other. And this is a fantastic first time having you on the podcast, and thank you for your friendship. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much. And you've given me a lot of insight for um, the content creation. I mean, you always do like air quotes and stuff, thinking, "Am I really a content creator?" You are.
No, I'm a
You're.
great. I don't think I do air quotes for influencer, because what am I?
That's what it is, influencer.
Yeah, it's like I'm still struggling with that, but we'll see.
But
There's some things
as
happening.
long as you can be considered an influencer if you influence one person, you have with me within this whole realm and everything, and I've
Hmm.
learned more about the infrastructure of people following and stuff. I've told it so many people, like, I don't care about the followers, whatever, but I
Yeah,
know
right.
you should if you want to get to the goals you want to get to. So thank you for
Yeah.
what and keep
I,
on keeping on.
Thank you. I mean, yeah, I'll just end with this saying, I've said it before and I'll say it again, is I do look at the numbers. I do look at the analytics. I just don't think that I allow it to drive my decision making. I don't allow it. I try my best not to allow it to change the content that I make, because there's a lot of content that I make that just doesn't do well, but it doesn't mean that I'm going to stop making it, because if it makes me laugh, it makes me feel something. That's the type of stuff I want to make. I want to make the content that I like watching and seeing, and also that I can be proud to show my family. Like, that's why I try to keep it family friendly. Will I mess up on occasion? Sure, but I mean, it's just because of the sheer volume that I put things out in, I guess.
I
But
really like to see the analytics of that Fu Manchu though.
I don't know how long I'm gonna have this. This is People do not like this thing much, and it's fine. It's funny to me. Guys like it, women do not like it. It's very funny. But no, you are such a value add in the hobby. Thank you for everything you do. Again, I will say it one more time. Thank you for your service. And I can't wait to the next time that we get to hang out in person and just have Dennis Rodman come by again or something.
You never know what's gonna happen, right?
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Alex. Army ATC 22. Have a good evening and have a great Veterans Day weekend.
Thank you. You as well.